here we go again. The dance has begun here on the big stage. We are at the 66th Annual Ford Boat Sport and Travel Show. I'm Brian Pointer, host of your Facebook Live, IndySportsShow.com. You can click on that and then find us on all the Facebook feeds that the Renfro production folks have. We're here in the Travel Cafe. The doors opened a little over an hour ago. People are starting to come in. A great destination here in the Travel Cafe. Grab yourself a fish sandwich. We got the Stella Artois Airstream Bar, still the coolest venue in the entire facility, and we're having a lot of fun. We're going to be here all day. We kick things off with Tommy Scarless. You might want to go back and check that out. Tommy has been labeled one of the top 10 anglers on the planet, and he's going to be inducted into the 2020 Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame. Going through an awful lot, just in the middle of some brain cancer stuff right now, but man, he still is going to fish 7 tournaments this year. So go and check that out. That's the beauty of what we do at Facebook Live. We get some great content, and then you can go back and check it out whenever you want, even if you can't be here live. Joining me now on stage is one of the, well, we're going to call him one of the title sponsors. I mean, if you got your name on the screen behind us, you're going to be a title sponsor. But as we've mentioned, the Deer Turkey Waterfowl Expo taking place, started Thursday. It's been packed Thursday and Friday. Expect it to be standing room only today and tomorrow, as is truly one of the highlights of the 66th Annual Ford Boat Sport and Travel Show. There's a huge lineup. When you walk in, check out the program, because the sponsors of the 2 seminar stages, present and featured out in the open, is our friends at Big Time. Burly Joe Umphries is with us. You've already gotten your backside kicked a little bit by one of the Renfros because you lost your mullet.
Yeah,
where's your mullet?
That's for later on today. At 1 o'clock, we got a surprise coming up that I'm saving the mullet for then.
It's always great, Facebook, when you can say, I left my mullet until 1 o'clock and there's a big surprise.
Yep.
Big Time. And you, Joe, you're in charge of a lot of the sales and marketing that's going over there.
I'm the National Sales and Marketing Director of Big Time.
So those that may not be familiar and why you have had such a big presence, Deer Turkey and Waterfowl for all these years, one of the title sponsors, sponsoring the stage. Your booth is huge. It's a big part and draw. Mm-hmm. For those that may not be familiar with what Big Time is, tell us.
Big Time, well, first of all, we're based out of Rockville, Indiana, so we're very proud to be at this show. This is our hometown crowd. We make supplemental feed and now mineral and a full line of food plot for whitetail deer.
You know, in all the years that we've been doing this, you've been a part of Facebook Live and what we've been doing out here, and it's evolved. There's one thing that's common amongst hunters, deer hunters in particular, is the question is, do you supplement? Do you put in food plots? And there's all these conversations that are going on. Kind of unpack this whole mystery, because a lot of guys think it's expensive, it's too difficult, I don't have a big enough piece of land, my deer are this, they travel through, it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
Unpack that as much as you can and demystify it.
I think the first thing you have to dissect is the difference between supplemental feeding and baiting. Because a lot of times when guys see Big Time, oh, they're just baiting deer. We're not baiting deer. I mean,
that would be illegal.
It's not legal in Indiana, so we don't bait deer. We don't feed during season. Supplemental feeding is putting feed out for them now when, you know, the food sources are limited, and we're building them up after a hard winter, after the rut. You know, they're really wore down, so we're giving them as much as they can now to get through the rest of the winter and have a thriving herd carrying on.
You know, when you walk through and you look through magazines, you look through any of the suppliers out there, there's all these fancy names and fancy packaging, and you know, they all got this killer this and bones that, and they're cool, okay? There's some cool marketing out there. I want you to kind of get to the nuts and bolts. It's kind of like reading labels if you're on a diet, you know. Tell me what they need to be looking for to get through all that BS.
Well, the main thing is, you know, everybody wants to grow bone, and they want a giant deer. But to do that, you have to have overall health, and that's what we're really going for.
And that goes for the does and the bucks.
Absolutely. Right now, you've got does that are pregnant. You need to keep them healthy, and then for lactation later on with the fawns, so because that carries right through the does to the fawn. So, really right now you want a good protein level, and, magnesium, selenium, that's all bone builders too. But, giving them that crude fiber and fat just to rebuild them.
So they come to your booth, and I'm the everyman here, so I'm going to put myself out there. I don't know jack about food plots, how to supplement, when to feed, how much to feed, what do I look for in those labels. When they come to your booth, why Big Time?
Well, Big Time's very different in the aspect that we're all whole grain. We're not putting a dehydrated.
What does that mean?
It means we're not putting dehydrated pellets in there where you really don't know where your sources of the protein and fat are coming from. We're growing all the grain in Indiana. This is homegrown, literally. And then we add the mineral to it. So you have the food source, the mineral that they need to get healthier, and we add the cherry rush flavoring to keep them coming back for more. So it's kind of like when I was a kid, I didn't eat broccoli. As soon as my mom covered it in cheese, I would eat the tar out of it, because I'm eating it because I like the taste of the cheese, but I'm getting all the benefits of the broccoli, and that's what we're doing with Big Time.
So, is it expensive?
Compared to others on the market?
I'm just saying, to do it right, whether you're supplementing or is the investment worth it? Let's put it that way.
It is definitely a commitment, and when you stick to it and see the benefits in the herd, it is absolutely worth it.
So another question that I hear oftentimes amongst my buddies, well, I only got 50 acres, and I don't have a fence around it, of course, so
Sure.
The deer just passing through. Why would I want to make that commitment?
My home farm is 40 acres, and I feed as much as I can year round. Right before season begins, I'm cleaning everything out 10 days prior. As soon as season's over with or I'm done hunting, I'm feeding them again. So it's more for self-benefit or self-satisfaction of knowing that you're not just hunting deer and shooting a couple deer a year. You're giving back to that herd to keep them multiplying.
So right now we're talking about supplementing. We're talking about the grains. You mentioned homegrown, home field advantage here in Rockville, Indiana. Huge company. The growth that you guys have experienced, the evolution of your company is now all in-house. It's all your own stuff.
Yep.
You control everything, the minerals,
Yes, sir.
the formula. That's a good thing. If I'm looking at this and I say, okay, I'm gonna start doing this supplementing thing, how do you get it to the deer? Is there a right way? Is there a wrong way? I was walking through the Deer Turkey Waterfowl Expo yesterday, and you got all these cool sprayers and boxes and drops and everything else. What's the right way, or is there a right way?
There's really no right or wrong way. I mean, you can take a bag out, dump it straight on the ground. There's a lot of great feeders over there. I personally recommend a gravity feeder if you're going to go that route. It keeps the feed out of the elements. It's not going to get rained on, and it's a free feed system, meaning the deer can eat as much as they want. With a broadcaster, you can time it, but okay, I'm going to dump a pound out in the morning, a pound out in the afternoon. Let the deer eat what they want to eat. Let them eat as much as they want.
Let the big dog eat.
Yeah, absolutely. The big dog's going to get bigger.
How do you keep the critters out? Come on, this is a $1 million question.
Raccoon season is a long time. We need to get guys back out coon hunting because I deal with it all the time.
I've seen some great videos of these feeder setups where you've got 20, 30 raccoons.
Oh, yeah.
And they work in a pack. Don't get me wrong. These dudes are smart.
Yep. You'll have one guy climb up there and he's dumping out for the other 29 underneath of it.
It's a true story, and I didn't believe it until I saw it. But it also, this feeding and supplementing, we're going to get to food plots in a second. It helps all the critters. It helps the turkeys. It helps the deer. I can
100%.
care less about the raccoons, but it helps everybody.
100%, yeah.
It's like I say with when all these organizations, the deer, the turkeys, the elk, all the foundations, all the unlimiteds out there, they're all doing the same thing because it's going to help the deer, the turkey, the cardinals, the birds, the ducks, clean water. It helps everybody.
Yep, so this time of year, I'm putting out Big Time, but I'll put a square bale of pure alfalfa out and then dump the Big Time over the top of it. I've got deer hitting it. I've got turkeys hitting it. I had a red fox digging through it the other day. I'm not really sure why, but
that's cool.
Maybe it was looking for a mouse. I don't know.
So you brought up alfalfa. Let's switch to food plots.
Yeah.
always a puzzle to me. I don't own my own property. I'm fortunate to have buddies that do, but man, they just bust themselves crazy. Putting in, trying something, fails. Next year it'll be better. Next year it'll be different.
Yep.
Next year this. How do you get started with a food plot? And what does a food plot mean?
You know, a food plot is just another way to, it's a form of supplemental feeding. You know, it's going to be a year-round food source, legal to hunt over in Indiana. You can, by all means, hunt over the top of it in season. But, you know, if you're having a clover plot, that's going to be a high protein count, and everybody's different. They're going to want a different blend, so that's why we've come up with so many blends to meet everybody's needs.
So I hear guys talking about radishes. I hear them talking about beets. I hear them talking about clover and alfalfa. Is there a right one, a wrong one?
There's no right or wrong.
Soil content. I hear the pH isn't good, and I burned it all up. And then my mind just starts to shrivel out because I got a pea brain anyway. So how do you get through all that? What do you do at Big Time to help them do it the right way?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, the soil test is key. You have to know what your pH levels are and everything, and need to remedy those. If it's not good soil, it doesn't matter whose seed you're using, it's not going to grow well. You have to get that soil right. And then you can kind of go into choosing. Like I said, there's no right or wrong seed to plant. That's just personal preference. If you want to plant clover, do it. They're going to eat clover. Alfalfa, like in my area, I can't plant alfalfa because I've got really heavy clay, and it doesn't come up real well. But clover does very, very well. And then, you know, some guys are going to want winter wheat. It also depends on what kind of forage you want. If it's early in the season, late in the season. If you want a late season food plot, you might gravitate more towards brassicas, being turnips and radishes. Early season will be clover, ryegrass, stuff like that.
So let's talk about, they come to your booth and break it down. Let's just break it down in threes. Top 3 things that you want. I know you ask a lot of questions. 3 important things for that owner of that land to pay attention to when they're choosing a Big Time or maybe some other brand out there. What do they need to look for if they're going to try to do a food plot?
Well, I think the first question is...
You already said soil.
Soil's going to be the first. What do you want to achieve from it? Is it a kill plot? Is it just a year-round, you know, destination for deer? Or do you want a kill site, meaning that's what they're going to come to then?
Yep.
And I think the third question is going to be, what do you want to get out of it? I mean, how many deer are you managing? You know, what's your density? What's your population? Because that's going to be a big key in it.
So how do you know that?
Deer,
how would you know that?
It's just going to come down to the individual. I mean, just observation. You really, most guys are going to have a pretty good handle on how many deer they're seeing at a time. And if you start putting good plots in, you're going to attract more deer into there. But, you know, a 1 acre plot is going to be hard to hold because they're going to eat it down. And once it's eaten down in the winter, it's not going to pop back up. Early fall, it's going to come back for you. But.
So is it a general rule of thumb that it's better to have more smaller plots than it is to have one bigger plot? And I know everybody's situation is different. And,
sure.
You know, but can you make something out of nothing?
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, we have 40 acres. We have 2 plots. Both of mine are in full clover, our 5-blend clover called Foundation Clover. And we're actually cutting that for hay throughout the summer. Our last cut will be mid-August, and we just convert those into a food plot. And, you know, it's kind of funny. You see the deer will gravitate to one, and then another deer will gravitate to the other. So it's pretty impressive. But they are, especially this time of year, they're really digging in.
So you've got a lot of folks coming to your booth. You're over there. You've got a lot of sessions, and you're teaching a lot of folks. You got a lot of bags. I got to ask you, if you follow Burley Joe on Instagram and the Big Time folks, you guys had a great meme on President's Day.
Bring up the President's Day.
He brought up Trump's face, nice leather bomber jacket, with a bag of Big Time over his shoulder saying Happy
President's Day.
Whoever came up with that, I literally sent that to like 5 people instantly and said, this is the best meme I've seen all day.
Yeah, that's I have a very talented graphic artist. Didn't ask her to do it. She just sent it to me, and I was like, yeah, we're going to run with that one.
You probably got a little pushback, but I'm telling you, you're on the right side of that.
Got a little bit, but it was mostly positive coming back to us.
It was fantastic.
It definitely went viral. That was impressive.
I know you guys do a lot of stuff for charity as well, and You guys are sponsoring a lot of veteran hunts. Tell us about what Big Time's commitment is to that.
Yeah, we work a lot with Brad Miller, another fellow Hoosier. Played for Purdue, played for the Pacers for a while. He's retired now and has his own show. Last fall we did a veteran hunt in Uvalde, Texas for deer. And here in, a few weeks, we're going to be doing a turkey hunt on his home lodge up there in northern Indiana. So very excited about that.
Well, I know being a sponsor is a big commitment to the Boat Sport and Travel Show, the Deer Turkey Waterfowl Expo. You've been on our screen the last 2 Saturdays here in high profile. I encourage everybody to stop by the Big Time booth over at the Deer Turkey Waterfowl Expo, open till I think 8 o'clock tonight. A lot of sessions, you can't miss them. The big signs all over the 2 stages where they're teaching, and stop in and say hi to Big Burly Joe. You have some folks that you partner with on the national scope of TV shows and other things. Yep. Who's here with you this weekend?
We've got Jeff and David Lindsay from the Lindsay Way. Great guys. Extremely knowledgeable on growing deer and land management, and just super people to talk to, and they are more than happy to take the time to talk to you they have their own booth over there. Okay. And they're going to be down there. They're going to be doing seminars. I also have Hal Schaefer here from Drop Zone TV from North Carolina. Big NASCAR man, and he'll be in my booth and hanging out there. Again, you stop by and say hi to him and get a picture.
You know, that's one of the things about coming out here to the boat show. It's not just a boat show. It's the Deer Turkey Waterfowl Expo. It's all the things in here in the Travel Cafe and the Champions Pavilion in Tackletown. You got a whole lot of like-minded people, but the common element, and I heard you just say it, stop in and ask questions. Get belly to belly. Even though Big Burly Joe's friendly guy, you want to make sure that you get your questions answered, because it is complicated. It can be complicated. Every situation is different. Supplementing, food plots, but you guys are the experts, and I'd love for everybody to stop by and say hello to our friends at Big Time. Thank you for their Thank you for their sponsorship. We're here at the Travel Cafe. Don't go anywhere. We're back every hour on the hour. One of my favorites is coming up next. You're not going to want to miss. Mike Del Visco, you know him. He is, he's probably at some Lone Star Steakhouse right now, I guarantee it. When we come back in just a little bit, we're going to be with Mike Del Visco after this.
Tried traditional marketing and fallen short? Use video marketing from NKT Productions. It's effective, economical, and it can be used across multiple devices. Capture your customers where they spend their time most, on TV, websites, email, and social media. Don't miss your chance to show the world how great your business is with video marketing. Experience the power of video marketing through NKT Productions. Meet with one of our experienced media agents to learn more.